Marion Amber is an advanced, if not an elite level trick. And there's a few things we need to bear in mind when we're starting to train at this level. And you may already know this, but one tutorial and one instructor may not get you to your goal. It may not. There are, particularly with this trick, 3 different hand positions and probably a billion different entries, okay? And different things work for different people, and I just don't have the time to cover all of the different options. So I'm gonna go with my favorite way of doing this, the way that I think is easiest personally. But if you don't get it, as always, it is important to ask questions. It is important to try different ways. So seek out other instructors, seek out other tutorials. When we're dealing with these tricks that require significant amounts of flexibility and strength and lots of different factors, you're gonna need more than one person's perspective, almost certainly. So for something like Marion Amber, for me, I found it quite doable very early on, and I was able to do it fairly easily. But there are other elite or advanced level tricks like machine gun that took me many, many years. Okay, I think machine gun took me about 4 years and a few different instructors for it to click. So it's all strengths and weaknesses. You know, we're all good at different things. Don't beat yourself up if you can't just magically do it after this tutorial, is all I'm trying to say. Okay. I'm also going to say that there's almost certainly no way this is happening on my left. I will try, but I'm hoping that the breakdown that we do before we do right and left will give you enough information. If you're ready to do Marion Amber, you should be able to watch me and sort of understand which arm and leg is doing what by this point. If you don't, then you probably need to work on your prerequisites a little bit more. So prerequisites: true grip, Aisha, and ideally straight edge and jackknife leg positions. True grip handspring is helpful. It's probably not the most important thing. If it's more about, if you struggle with handspring just because of the dynamic nature of it versus the strength, then you will probably be okay with this one. And you do need to be comfortable with anything where we go from upright to upside down. So in terms of tutorials that I have, that's Cupid to butterfly, Jamila to butterfly, okay, but also things like hunter press, okay, other similar kinds of sequences, because we're going to use these things. Okay, let's dive right in. So I'm going to have to show you the first half and the second half from different angles, because being on static, I move into a position where you can't see what I'm doing in the second half. So we're going to break it into 2 sections, and I'm going to sort of explain a few things in between those 2 sections. So first half of this trick, we're going to go up and hook our outside leg, and you can either go bottom arm or top arm first, it doesn't really matter, into a jasmine position. We don't want the top hand too high, but we also don't want it like actually on that leg. You want a little bit of a gap. Bottom hand actually needs to be probably fairly high. We don't want it like right up here, but we don't want it all the way down the pole, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to swing this leg back, and we're going to drop our head down towards our bottom arm, and we're going to tuck our legs in towards our chest, knees to the floor, feet to the ceiling, okay? So very much the first bit is like your Cupid into butterfly. So this leg swings, my head goes down, and I tuck. So now I've released my legs a little bit. I still can squeeze into the pole. They're almost in a crucifix position, okay? And I've got my bum up, and I'm pushing through my bottom arm, which is bent, okay? The top arm, we don't want to be lazy and just fully hang off of it. We probably want to keep a slight bend of the elbow so that we are engaging through the bicep. We don't want to be pulling ourselves in towards that direction because we won't be able to get our head down, okay? So there's something I thought when I was there that I have now lost. Gone from my brain, poof. Okay, let's not worry about it. Let me show you that again. So for this bit, I need a bit of oomph. I'm using that swing, I'm throwing my head down. If I try to do this really slowly and controlled, it's almost impossible for me. I need a bit of dynamic movement, okay, a little bit of oomph. So, up and hook, outside leg. Hand above, hand below, whichever order you want to go. Hand just above the knee. So you cannot keep squeezing this knee as hard as you are at the beginning, but you still want to use the grip of that leg. So you've got to let it relax and start to rotate. So the knee will go down, the foot will go up. If you're squeezing this top leg too hard, you won't be able to rotate very easily. So bottom leg swings back, head goes down, Knees tuck, feet to ceiling. Okay. And you can practice just trying to do that to begin with. Okay. It won't feel super secure. You won't feel like you've locked in place because you've got that bottom arm really bent. You can't quite get your face right down on the pole. That's okay. So now there's two things that can happen. I will try and show you these up the pole. In Marion Amber, and actually probably go and have a little look on Instagram and see the differences in how people do this. There's a few variables. So we can have the arms really wide and the chest really close, or we can have the hands close together and the chest and body further away from the pole. We can have the hips facing the pole, or we can have the hips turning out to the side of the pole. We can have the pole staying right behind our knee, or the pole can go down more onto the calf. Now, there are benefits and negatives to each of these different positions and situations. So when the arms are wider in our Marion Amber, we are going to have to use far more of our flexibility in order to get anywhere near a flat split, which you're probably not going to see me do anything near close to flat today. I'm not warmed up in my split. My split is not as good as it used to be. The video I filmed at the beginning was all about illusion. And I will talk to you about how we can make it look bendier as we go. But if your arms go wider, okay, with the arms wider, this can often be less intense in terms of strength, but is harder in terms of flexibility. To make it look flat and pretty, when we're really close to the pole and our arms are really wide, we have to really rely on having a very good split and very good back flexibility, okay? And we're not gonna be able to cheat in our split and open our hips because we don't have the room to, okay? There's no room to maneuver. We're like very much wedged into the pole. If we take the arms a little bit closer, it's harder in terms of strength because we've got to really push our body out away from the pole. But what this does allow to happen is for you to open up your hips and use sort of a cheaty flexibility, a cheat split position, okay? So one's easier on the arms, one is easier on the flexibility. Kind of just got to weigh up what's going to work for you. Obviously try both and see how you feel. Now, the other thing is the leg position. So when we first get into position, you're going to see the pole will be right by my knee. But what I can do, actually, arguably in both positions, although with the arms wide and the body close, you're going to be relying on back flexibility and leg flexibility to be able to do this. It'll be easier if the arms are close together. We can stick our bum out and take the pole closer down towards our foot, somewhere on our calf. Now, with it there, this gives us even more space to start to turn the body and make it look bendier, okay? So now we need to see all of that in the air because that's a lot of information to take in from down here. Now I'm going to have to change my position. So the first section will be harder to see now, okay? But otherwise you're not going to see what I'm doing in the second bit. So we're going to go up and hook our outside leg, one hand down, one hand up. Hand not too far from the top knee, bottom hand not too low. So I swing this leg back. My head goes down, I tuck my legs, and then the first option is to really slide the bottom hand until the chest comes onto the pole. And then I can open my legs. Now, this requires less strength, but I'm finding it hard to get the level of flexibility. I can't turn my hips as easily. Unless I've actually got a split or an oversplit, it's not going to look flat, okay? So for many people, that might be easier. You can also, to get the same effect, I find this hard, you can start with the hand lower to begin with. So I go back to the first angle, so rather than having to slide it, so rather than go from here and sliding, you're going to start with it lower, and then you're going to swing, okay? I personally find that harder. I find it easier to get my body in position first, then slide the hand down. But if you're struggling with that, try with the hand lower to start with. See, we're all different. This is why this is a hard tutorial to do because we're so different. We all prefer different things, okay? So try all of the options. Now, the second option is to not slide the hand quite as much and have more of a push. So I've got a bit of room between me and the pole. Let me show you that again from a different angle. So, up, hook, hand below, hand above. Swing, leg back, head down, tuck the legs. Slide a little bit, and then push out. So now, my chest isn't on the pole, and I feel like I can get my back leg a little bit lower. Now, it still probably doesn't look super bendy from your angle, mainly because I'm probably not in the perfect place for the camera. But for me and my body, I feel like I'm going further. Okay. So I slide a tiny bit, then I lock out. I push my body away from the pole, and I have more space between my chest and the pole till the chest comes onto the pole, and then I can open my legs. Slide a little bit, and then push out. So now the last thing is to look at the leg position. Because this does work with either option, the slide and being close, or the push and being further away. But it's harder if you're closer in some respects because you need a bit more back flexibility. I think I might be able to do it. Let's see. So either way, we're looking at what the hips and the leg are doing. So watch where the leg is on the pole. So up, hook, hands, one above, one below. So whichever option you're doing with the hands, it doesn't matter. Swing, head down. Okay, so now if I slide back a little bit, I'm then able to go possibly a little bit deeper. I don't know how it looks on camera. I'm just not that flexible these days. I only really get a split these days when I'm either like super, super warm and I've been stretching for quite a while, or I'm on stage and the adrenaline is going and I just jump into it and hope for the best. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's how we get injured kids, but it works for me. Okay, I know that's a lot of information. There's a lot of variables, and we haven't even got to talking about cup and twisty grip, and some people go into this from a Cupid. I personally don't like the Cupid entry because I do find it significantly harder. I really do. I think you've just got so much further to travel to get upside down. But there are tutorials for that, I think, on YouTube. So if you're struggling with this way, go check it out. My end goal is just to get you this trick. Doesn't matter how you do it or who gets you there, as long as you're safe. Okay, very quickly, let's do the breakdown of right and left. Don't think I will be able to open out in my left. And to be able to see what's going on with the hands, I'm going to have to do the position that doesn't give you the best ending, but it shows you the setup. So, right side first. Pole is in the left armpit. Right leg is hooking. Left hand is the one that is down, right hand is the one that is up. I'm going to swing my left leg backwards and releasing and tucking the knees, feet to the ceiling, knees to the floor, head down to the left arm. Then slide the bottom arm or push out, depending on your option, and then straighten your legs. Okay, left side. Let's see, maybe I'll surprise myself. Probably not, but maybe I will. So, pole is on the right, left leg is gonna hook, left hand above, right hand down. Oh my gosh, this is scary. Okay, we've got this, guys. At worst, you get to laugh at me, I guess. So, swing the right leg back, head down, tuck. Oh, I can't, there we go. And then straighten the legs. Almost. That wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be actually on that side. Okay. I hope that is enough information to get you going with this one. But as always, if you're struggling, let me know. Send me the videos, ask the questions. I want to help. And don't forget to train smarter, not harder.